welcome the president and CEO of the largest chiropractic consulting company in the world, Mr. Keith Maule.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, good morning, everybody. Awesome to see you here. I've got some great news for you. You're in the right place at the right time. What a fantastic crowd, too. We crammed in a room. I know we've got over 400 people here this morning. We've got some 500 chairs. I'm telling you, every single one of you, the neat thing is, today is the day that we rewrite your future. We rewrite the dream. We even rewrite who you are. And you say, well, now, wait a minute. I'm not sure I want to rewrite because I got a pretty good dream. And I got a pretty good future. And I agree with you. I believe it. But whatever it is, it could be better, don't you think?
Yeah.
Or maybe it could be gooder. Whatever it is, it can always go higher. There's always another level, isn't there? How many of you think we ought to go for it? Let's do her, let's get her done. Because I've got some really, really exciting stuff. I can hardly wait to get into it. I think you're going to love it. You're never going to be the same. It's going to make a difference. We love to make a difference, and that's why we're here. Well, let me just give you an example. I called one of our top flight offices just a couple weeks ago. I called this top flight office, and it was Dr. Jason's office, and his CA answered the phone, and she answered it perfect, man. I mean, I loved it. Every word was just right. And by the time when she finished that deal, she said, may I make an appointment for you today? I said, hi. I said, this is Keith Maule with Integrity Management. I said, how are you doing? She said, and I mean, never skipped a beat, nothing. I said, how are you doing? She said, I'm living the dream. Boy, that made my day, don't you know? Now that was a good answer, wasn't it? That was because, it had been probably 2 months or more since we'd had the seminar. She was doing it. She was remembering it. She was living. Is that a good thing? I love it when people get it. Now, hopefully, you remember last time we talked about even those little sticky notes that go on your computer and in your car and on your mirror, and we said put LTD on there. And LTD stands for? Living the dream. Very good. Well, I've got a new sticky note for you, just in case that one's fallen off. The new sticky note is going to just say this: who are you? That's the sticky note. You put it on your mirror where you get ready, so that it makes you think about that instead of thinking about an argument with your spouse or your kids or something, and why they didn't do this and why they didn't do that and how come they're still asleep and why aren't they up and blah blah blah. Who are you? And then you put it on your rearview mirror in your car, and then you put it on your monitor at the computer, and wherever place is just going to say, who are you? Now look, if I'm going to ask that question and I want you to be continually asking yourself, who are you? I got to make sure that you get the right answer. Because if you have the bad answer, this could be bad. Who are you? I'm a loser. I'm telling you, this is not good. I don't want that answer, so I got to make sure you get the right answer. So, everybody clear your throats. Because I don't want you to just kind of mumble this and fumble this. I mean, you got to proclaim this. This is one of those deals. Everybody's got to say it. Let me give you the answer. The answer to who are you is, I am amazing, inspiring, unstoppable. Now that's what I want to say. So everybody say it with me. I am
amazing, inspiring, unstoppable.
Now, that really wasn't good at all. And not only that, you even kind of went up like it was a question mark. It's like, I am amazing? No. It is, I am amazing, inspiring, unstoppable. Now you guys, get some cockiness. Would you do that? Everybody, so who are you?
Amazing, inspiring, unstoppable.
Well, by the time, see, some of you have never called yourself that before. I can tell you've never said that about you. You've said it about other people, but you haven't said it about you. I'm not sure that you've always believed it about you. I don't know. But it's time that we change the mind and we change the heart and we get it where you understand who you really are. Because we're not leaving here until you are absolutely positively sure of who you really are, because I know who you are. You are amazing. That is the real you. The real you is inspiring. The real you is unstoppable. Most people just they lose sight of who they really are because it gets covered up by other stuff. it gets covered up by other things. And so, boy, don't you like that opening? Aren't you to have Ron Clark for Spectacular coming up in Chicago? That's going to be amazing. He's an amazing guy. And then, how many of you have seen The Blind Side? How many of you thought that was an awesome movie? The star of The Blind Side, Quentin Aaron, who played Michael Orr, is going to be at Spectacular for you to hear and see. So the hottest movie going, the star of The Blind Side at Spectacular, isn't that going to be something else? So it's going to be an amazing time, which is what it's designed to be. You got to be there. But getting back to the true point, the only thing I'm interested in is the real you. I don't want you to be somebody else. I don't want you to try to be somebody else. I want you to become the real you. But the real you is inspiring. The real you is amazing. Now, see, you have a tendency to think other people are amazing, but not think you are amazing. You have a tendency to think other people are inspiring, like the pilot who landed the plane on the harbor. Or what was the name of that? Sully, on the Hudson River, thank you. But you know what? He was a hero his whole life. He didn't just start being a hero last year. He's always been one. It's just now we see it. You are amazing. You are inspiring. You say, well, now, Keith, you know, oh, boy, here we go with the fluff. You know, to tell you the truth, Keith, you know, I'm a realist. You know, and because I'm a realist, you know, I just can't, you know. Hey, I'm a realist, too. I understand being a realist. I'm a realist, and what I'm talking about is real. If you're a realist, I've only got one thing to say to you, good. I'm only interested in the truth. But I'm tired of you buying into stuff that isn't the truth. I'm tired of you buying into lies. I'm tired of you buying into things and stuff. I'm not afraid of the truth. Are you? Let's see if you know me. You know, see, the truth is, I know what's true about you. The question I can is, can you handle the truth? Does anybody know what movie that is? A Few Good Men, that's right. You can't handle the truth. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm thinking you can't handle the truth. You know why? Because the truth is that you are amazing, and I think you can't handle it, because if you have to accept the fact that you're amazing, you're going to have to go for amazing. If you have to accept the truth that you are inspiring, then you've got to do stuff that's inspiring. And if you accept the truth that you are unstoppable, that means you've got to stop being so easily stopped. The truth is, you don't want the truth because you can't handle the truth. And I'm here to get to the truth anyway. The truth is freeing, you know. The truth sets you free, and the reason it does is that when you accept and understand and see the truth, it frees you to dream so much bigger. It frees you to expect so much more. It frees you to even go for stuff you would have never gone for before because you didn't see the truth. You didn't believe the truth. The truth is freeing, and the truth is exciting. Once you catch hold of the truth, man, you wake up excited every day because the truth is really amazing. But sometimes we can't handle the truth. Now, we're not walking out of this room today until you see the true picture of you. And who are you?
Amazing, inspiring, unstoppable.
Wow, you are kidding me, right? I mean, let me help you all. Apparently, you all didn't need this at school. This is what we call a cheat sheet. The answer is like in huge letters. In case you haven't got the 3 words memorized yet, they're right there. Go ahead and read it and cheat. All right? Who are you?
Amazing, inspiring, unstoppable.
I want them to hear you in the stinking parking lot because I'm telling you something. You haven't convinced me yet. It's like these people who say that they believe that they're going to heaven, but I can't tell by looking at them. To me, they look like they're going to hell. There's no question about it. How you doing? Okay. How you doing? All right. How you doing? Oh, getting by. How you doing this morning? It's Monday. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's Friday. It's morning. My word, man. You're no good Mondays. You're no good Fridays. You're no good mornings. You're closed on Thursday. You know, you're pretty much no good. Truth is, man, if you're going to be amazing, you got to start sounding amazing. And so we're going to talk about that. You will get this, everybody. I'm not stopping until you do. But you know why you can't say it with very much conviction? The reason is because most of us have covered up the true original picture. The original picture of who we really are has been covered up by things, stuff, events, circumstances, things that have happened to us that have covered up the real us. People that have come into our path that have told us who we really are. Sometimes grades in school, sometimes teachers, sometimes failures in sports, sometimes rejection by friends, sometimes failures in groups, sometimes relatives. There's been events, there's been circumstances, there's been a past that has covered up, blurred, fouled up the true us. Now what I want to do this morning is I'd like to go back before that happened. Back before the redefinitions. Back before the changes. Back before the dirt got thrown on the picture. I want to come back to the real you. I want to come back to the truth. Because let me just help you with something. I want everybody to get this. You say, well, no, wait. Are you sure? Yeah. Let me just promise you, I do know the real you. I mean, come on. Nobody says, there isn't anybody. If we go back before all these circumstances and before all these events, if we go back to before that, none of you said, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be broke. My true dream in life is to have a cruddy car and a shabby house. I'm kind of hoping to never be able to pay my bills. My dream, when I grow up, I want to marry the wrong person. You know, I'd really like to. I'd like for my whole marriage thing to just end in divorce. That's the goal. And okay, I want to be a parent, but I want cruddy kids. You know, I don't mind being a parent, but I want my kids to be losers. You know, I'd like to really be a bad dad. Not spend any time with my family. I don't want to spend time with my family. I don't want to provide them nice things. And you know what I'm really hoping? I'm hoping that I can gain weight every year. I want to be the blimp of life. I would like to just continually grow. That's the goal. If only I can do those things. I'm kind of hoping, you know, that when I graduate from chiropractic college, that my practice fails. As a matter of fact, we've set a goal for new patients, 0. We don't want any new patients for the month. What I'd like to do is just sit in the office and twiddle my thumbs. I'm kind of hoping nobody shows. What we need is more snow days. That's the goal. Maybe we can be closed for the winter. Nobody says that, do they? You know why nobody says that? It isn't the real you. The real you doesn't want that at all. None of you have woke up saying, you know what I hope? I hope I get diabetes. What I really like to have is high cholesterol. You know, if we work hard enough, I believe I can have a heart attack right here. And you know what? I mean, there's nothing worse to me. I mean, there's no way I'm sitting and go, I want to be a spiritual loser. I'm kind of hoping I go to hell. Does anybody say that? Or does really everybody in here want to be a spiritual winner? Is the real you in heaven or hell? Is the real you healthy or sick? Oh, I hope I don't have to buy nice clothes. Whew. I'd rather be cruddy. Hopefully I can go bankrupt. No. That's not the real you. Now here's the thing, everybody. I'm not saying that you haven't experienced some of those things. I'm not saying that some of you haven't experienced financial hardship. I'm not saying that some of you haven't experienced health problems. I'm not saying that some of you have not experienced family problems and relationship problems and problems with your kids and problems in your marriage. What I am saying is that those events and those circumstances have thrown dirt on the real you and covered it up and distorted it, so that now, instead of you seeing who you really are, you've allowed circumstances to define you and to lower you and to change your expectations and to create a new set of values, so that now you have become the product of other people and other things and other circumstances, instead of becoming the product of the real you. Because if we take a look at the real you, it's a whole different thing. It should be obvious none of those things are really you. The real you instead becomes defined in a whole different way. The real you needs to come back again. The real you needs to be focused. And I want you to focus on the real you instead of what has become blurred and distorted and lost. And that is the real you. So you know what? It's time. That's why I make you say it. And I know you don't like to say it. It's pretty obvious that you don't like to say it. But it's time that you start saying it. Who are you?
Amazing, inspiring, unstoppable.
That was better. That was better. I almost believed you. And what's going to be more important is for you to believe you. And is it important to say it? It is. I know that you get hacked off at me because I make you say it, but it's important to say it. You need to say it. You need to hear yourself say it. You've heard yourself say lots of bad stuff. You've heard yourself declare all kinds of failure. You've heard yourself declare all kinds of reasons you can't do it. People are all the time talking about what they can't do. Oh, no, this will never happen. That'll never happen. I'll never do this. I'll never dream this. This isn't going to happen. I mean, you say that junk all the time. It's time that you say some good stuff. Here's some scriptures that I like. A scripture says, let the weak say, I am. Yeah, that's what it says. It says, let the weak say, I am. Let the poor say, I am. That's right. And in Ohio, the scripture says, and let the cold say, I am. Yeah. And you say it. Even in Florida, we had a week of that. Truth of the matter is, everybody, you need to get used to saying the truth. It's time that you have enough courage to face the truth, the real you. Don't let the bad breaks. By the way, how many of you have ever had some bad breaks? How many of you have ever made some bad decisions? How many of you have ever, both hands, how many of you have ever lost? Well, look around, everybody. It's a pretty big club. Therefore, I'm convinced that the amazing people, the unstoppable people, the inspiring people have still lost, have still had problems, have still made some bad decisions. It isn't that they didn't. It isn't that they haven't. It's that they didn't accept it as being the real them. The real them is amazing. And that was the picture that they chose to see. Let's get the real you in focus. All in favor say aye. Aye. That's the deal. So the real you is healthy and fit. You know it. The real you is well. The real you know what the real you wants to be and is. You know what's inside of you. None of you have said, I want to grow up to be sick. The real you is healthy and fit. The real you is a great spouse. The real you says, everybody wants to be married to me. Unfortunately, there can only be one winner. Right? The real you is prosperous and successful. The real you has that amazing home. The real you has that amazing car. The real you marries the right person. The real you has outstanding kids. and never accepts anything else because we do not give up. By the way, for those of us who are getting older, when does parenting end? Never. That's right. For those of you young parents, let me help you out. You know, you're thinking it's this 18 thing. It isn't going to happen. No, no. The truth is, we never stop being. The real you is a choice every day. This is so good. The real you, and you know this is true, so accept it. Handle the truth. The real you has an amazing practice. That's the way it is. The real you has a line outside the door. The real you makes that restaurant that has an hour-and-a-half wait look like it's empty. The real you has a practice that's absolutely amazing. Seeing miracles happen every week. The real you has an amazing practice that sees people clamoring to get inside so that it's the 80% that's there. That's the real you, isn't it? Can you handle the truth? You just don't let yourself think about the truth because you don't want to be disappointed. Let me tell you something. To shoot for nothing and hit it is disappointing. It's time that we set the standard where it is. Amazing. And accept it. Accept the truth. The real you is spiritually successful and you know it. You don't want to be a spiritual loser. You know it. Now come on. Stop lying to yourself and lying to us. How many of you would rather go to heaven than hell? It's a better deal. You know how some people get out of it? They just say that neither one exists. And they're praying to God that it doesn't. There's only one reason why you're praying to God that there is no heaven and there is no hell. It's because you think you're a spiritual loser. If you see the real you as being a spiritual winner, you're going to be for heaven. Does that make sense, everybody? The reason we say stuff that we say and we do stuff that we do is because we're scared of the truth. The truth is, you want to be a spiritual winner, don't you? And there's more truth to that, but I can't get into it. The truth is, it's so easy. Wow, it's a gift. But I can't go there. The real you is a champion. You. Now, I'm not talking about 398 out of the 400 of you. If you're in here and you're sitting in this chair, you are a champion. How many of you are champions? By the way, who are you?
Amazing, inspiring, unstoppable.
That's right. Man, you're getting gooder and gooder. This is good. By the time we end, I think we're going to have it down. I'm excited. Let me just give you another little hot spots here, and I'm not afraid to say the word. I'm okay with it. Jesus said, "You are the light of the world." He didn't say, "Wow, I was hoping you would be." He didn't say, "If only you'd start." He didn't say, "You could be, but you aren't." What did he say? He said, "You are." You are. You, who is? You. You are the light of the world. See, you guys, now I don't know, you listen to all these spiritual people, you gotta watch those real spiritual people because they have a way of making everything fun sound bad and boring. I don't know how, you won't hear these definitions. So he also said that you are the salt of the earth. He said you are the salt. He didn't say, he said you are the salt of the earth. Now when you listen to all these definitions, I mean, let me just tell you, I don't know how they can turn it into so boring, but I'm going to tell you what this really means. And I've never heard anybody else say it, which means this could be wrong. But you are the light of the world. That means that when you walk in a room, you light it up. That means in every conversation, you make the conversation a better one because you're the light. You're the fun. You're the spark. You're the fire. You're the energy. You're the hope. You're the light. You are the light. And that's what you are every day, right?
Right.
Every conversation. Every conversation, you are the light. Light. Oh, boy, it was dark in here till they walked in the room. They're the light. You are the light. You are the light. You light it up. That means you smile, bucko. Because you are the light. The light. You're the light. I'm telling you, be the light. Be who you really are. You really are the light. Now become the real you. Lee? Or die. Do you get it? You're the light. How many of you ever met people that when they walk in, the lights go out? Let me ask you another question. How many of you have ever allowed other people to turn out your light? And some of you are the light, but you could be a gooder light. You know what I mean. You guys have those lights in your house, those lamps that has different levels. You turn it on and it's dim, and then you go one more and it goes on, and then go one more. And see, some of you are on low beam. And you need to crank it up. Crank up more light. It isn't that you want the light, but you got another switch on there. Turn it on. Flip it. Go from low beam to high beam. You know why? The world needs your full wattage, bucko. We need it. Look around. Don't you think we need some light? It isn't that we aren't. It's that we just haven't turned it on. Now, before you leave here, you will be the light. Smile. See, some of you, I don't care what he says, I ain't smiling. I'm going to look at you like I hate your guts. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a bad choice. Because let me just tell you what really works. You know what really works? Find out how much fun it is to be the light. It's a ton of fun. It beats loser all to pieces. I asked you all a while ago, how many of you have ever lost? Let me ask you another question. How many of you have ever won? How many of you liked winning better? Now, let me tell you something, you guys. I've got season tickets to the Tampa Bay Bucks. I can only tell you winning is better. You know, 1 and 14 or whatever we were, not as much fun. Winning's better. You are the salt. Let me tell you what salt means, just for you to know. Let me tell you what salt means. Salt, and don't you, these spiritual people go, it means you're the preservative. Oh, Brother John. Way to take a scripture and just kill it. Yes, you know, Lot's wife turned to salt, so, you know, you're the salt of the earth. That means that you petrify everybody. How do you do that? Let me tell you what the salt is. Let me tell you what you are the salt is. Salt is the spice of the food. If salt, you see, salt makes everything taste better. You say, no, shoot, why do you think they put it on every table in every restaurant? This will kill the food, put this on there. No. They put salt on the table because it's going to make it taste better. It can take something that's even cruddy and make it taste good. You are the salt of the earth. He could have even said you are the sugar. Just makes it better. Shoot, salt's in almost every, even most desserts have some salt in it. The crazy thing is, I'm telling you, you are the spice of the earth. You are when people are sitting in a restaurant and you come in, they say, hey, come over here, we need some spice. You're the spice of the earth. You're the light of the world and you're the spice of the earth. You are what lights it up. You make every conversation better. You make every person better. Everybody who knows you is better because they know you. That's what makes you the salt. You know that if anybody spends some time with you today, they're going to be made better. All in favor say aye. Aye. Spice is a good thing. The real you is amazing. I hope you can handle the truth. The real you is inspiring and unstoppable. And that becomes now 2010. By the way, Happy New Year, everybody. 2010 is this. 2010 is the year you decide you're going to bring back or be the real you. It's going to happen. 2010. Now let me just tell you, some of you may think it's been a long time since you've seen the real you. Doesn't matter to me. The past I could care less. It's your decision today that I'm interested in. Will you today decide to be the real you, to have the guts to look at it and have the guts to be it? You choose to do it in 2010. You say, all right, now Keith, whoa, wait. You know, I mean, this is getting kind of scary because I'm even understanding what you're saying. But still, you don't know me. And if you did, you'd know that I'm not this and I don't have that. Let me just tell you something. And there's only one reason I know this. You are not missing a piece. God didn't foul up with you. I know some of us feel like when he was handing out brains, we forgot to get in line. I know that. Some of us weren't straight A students. Let me just tell you something. You're not missing a piece. You are not one taco short of a combination plate. It's all there. You came fully loaded. Some of you have bought into things. Well, you know, if only I were taller, or if only I were thinner, or if only I were cuter, if only I were better looking, if only I didn't have this big nose, if only I had hair, if only I had brains, if only I had a sense of humor, if only I had a bright personality. Some of you think that you are missing a piece. And I'm here to tell you that you are wrong. Because if you needed to be taller, God would have made you taller. If you'd have needed to be smarter, he'd have made you smarter. If he'd have needed you to be better looking, he'd have made you better looking. But the truth is, you are not missing a piece. You are fully loaded. You say, how do I know this? I know it because I know what it is to be missing every one of these pieces. And I know that it didn't stop me. I wasn't voted most likely to succeed in high school. I wasn't even voted. Nobody really knew that I existed. My roommate when I went to college was the guy in high school. Now it was a pretty large high school. I mean, we had a graduating class of about 600 or so. And he was the lead guy in our class. I mean, this guy was tall, 6'4", skinny, good looking, big eyes, the lead in the high school musical, great singer, great personality. I hated him. He was everything, and I was nothing. And we were roommates. It's like Mutt and Jeff here. I wasn't the one voted most likely to succeed. Now here we are 10 years later. Not sure why that's so funny, but let's just say 12. Here we are 12 years later. It didn't turn out the way everybody thought. Is that good? It didn't turn out the way everybody thought. I won't go into his life, but I can go into mine. It didn't turn out the way everybody thought. They were wrong. Because they thought I was missing a bunch of pieces. And they thought he had all the pieces. How about that? There is a song I really like. Toby Keith, you know. How do they like me now? Now that I'm on my way. That's a good song. I know how he was able to write that one. Wowee. I'm sure he had some people in mind, don't you think? You are fully loaded, bucko. You have it. You have what it takes. Now you'd say, boy, Keith, you're spending a lot of time on this. Why is this so important? I want to tell you why. There's a reason why you've got to get this concept, and we can't leave until you do. You've got to understand who you really are and accept it and believe it. Because if you don't, you will never have the confidence to go for what you should go for. You'll always make bad decisions. You've made some bad decisions already. Let me just tell you something. You're going to make more unless you get this. And you know why? You'll always make chicken decisions. That's why. If you don't have this, you'll always let other people make your decisions for you as well. You need to get who you really are so that you make good decisions, so that you have the confidence to make faith decisions instead of chicken decisions. You'll never go for it. I see it all the time. I'll sit down with a couple that is looking at becoming an integrity doctor. And inside I see that doctor and they know it's the right thing to do. And they know that they need to do it. They know that they want to do it. And then their spouse will say, you know you're not going to do this. And you know what? You've tried this before. No. Yeah, you failed. You always say you're going to do it, but you're not going to do it. Nope, you never do it. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about? And pretty soon their decisions are based on past failures, circumstances, events, and people. If I know who I am, I'll make the decision to do what I know I need to do. Even if it's scary. Even if it seems impossible. I'll make the decision to do it. And you know why I'll make the decision to do it? Because I know who I really am. I'm amazing. I'm inspiring. I'm unstoppable. And what that means is, I can do this. You need to know who you really are so that you make good decisions instead of decisions that other people have made for you. You need to know who you are so that you fulfill your purpose on this planet. How many of you believe you have a purpose for being here? There is a reason, you know. It isn't to take up space. It isn't to create global warming. You have a purpose, a real purpose. And until you realize who you really are, you will not reach your destiny. And you will not fulfill your purpose. So that's why I'm telling you in here, you will get this. You will accept it. You will believe it. 2010 is the year. Now, I am not stupid. This can't be done in one day. You can make the decision today, but it ain't going to be done in a day. It's going to take some time because it's a great thing. And anything great takes time. It can't be done in one day or 1 month. And that's why I've decided to do something a little bit different. I've decided that instead of just saying something like this and then going on and we forget it and the next time we go on, I'm not going on. We're going to spend the year 2010. This is the focus. The focus for the entire year is for you to become the real you. That's where we will stay. So we have Ron Clark coming to Spectacular to be our illustration to once again remind us that we are amazing, because that guy, a 5th grade teacher who has become a national phenomenon. He's amazing. We need the inspiration. A 5th grade teacher in Harlem, how did he become a best-selling author? How does he have the Ron Clark Academy now? People come from all over the world to study him and his school to find out how to do education. Is that amazing? He was a 5th grade teacher. He still is. A 5th grade teacher in Harlem. And he became the role model. Amazing. You can be inspiring. So we have a guy who, with The Blind Side, is inspiring. How does he do it? We spend the year with this. So, you declare today that you've got a mission. You've got a mission for 2010. You've actually got a reason to wake up. You've got a reason to be on fire. You've got a reason to be the light. And you've got a reason to be the salt, and that is you've got a mission. Your mission is to become amazing, inspiring, and unstoppable. So, who are you?
Amazing, inspiring, unstoppable.
All right. Let's talk about becoming amazing. Mission number 1. I want you to be amazing in practice and in life. Amazing. I want you to understand that, yes, you are amazing. I want you to meet Dr. Barbara Brost. Dr. Brost had had some bad circumstances at the time that she came to us. She had had some tough events. Her husband left her. Now, I think if we all take our halos off, that can create some feelings of rejection. That can create some feelings that I'm not a very good spouse. I must not be a very good person. I must be a bore. I must be cruddy. After all, I can't even hold on to my own home. All kinds of feelings that set in that also included, because he was a doctor, it also included the practice, and she lost her practice and she lost her home. All kinds of feelings of failure. All kinds of feelings that, wow, this doesn't happen to other people. The interesting thing is, these events could have easily covered her up, the real her. And so we sat down and we did a 5-year plan, and we did a vision board. And boy, she stood up in one of our top flight lunches, you guys, and then she read off her list, her vision board, and what has happened now. I want you to fast forward. And by the way, she practices in Minneapolis. If you know Minneapolis, first of all, it's the highest managed care state in the country. Tough place to build a practice. And then she practices in a city where there is a chiropractic college in Minneapolis. As we all know, it can be done, but that's a harder place. So she has everything working against her except who she really is, the plan, the strategies, the dream. Let's take a look at her now, Dr. Brost.
When you walk into the Brost Clinic, the first word that comes to your mind is amazing. You feel better just walking into the office. The warm fireplace and the awesome visual water scenes creates an atmosphere that surpasses anything in healthcare, and that's the way it should be. Chiropractic is #1 in healthcare and should look like it and feel like it. The Brost Clinic has everything and has it on a bigger scale than anything you are going to find in the profession. Whatever they do it in a big and quality way. This 7,400 square foot office has a magnificent display and supply of all types of nutritional needs. This is a wow. You can see why in 2009, Dr. Brost was inducted into the Integrity Management Hall of Fame, and why she also received the Outstanding Alumni Award from Northwestern Health and Sciences University. They have state-of-the-art equipment with 14 beautiful adjusting rooms, therapy bays, and a 300 square foot rehab and decompression area. Whatever service you might want, you can find in this amazing clinic. Why, even their 6CA workstation is bigger and nicer than anything you may have seen in the past. When you look at the offices and the treatment areas, you get the clear message of the success of chiropractic care. This is quality. This is first class. This is where any family would be proud to say they come to get natural health care. Who wouldn't refer a friend to a clinic like this? This is a real chiropractic clinic. Let's take this amazing clinic and make it the norm.
Pretty amazing, huh? That's pretty good from zero, don't you think? And when you jerk your halo off, there isn't anybody here, by the way, she collected last year, collected, keyword is, collected, she collected over $2 million last year? That just for your own little calculations, that's 183,000, almost 200,000 a month. She collects more a month than the average chiropractor does a year. Now, if we jerk our halo off, there isn't anybody who wouldn't like that. Truth of the matter is, it should be the norm. It is the norm. You say it first, but it is the norm. You see it, you say it, you believe it. The truth of the matter is, that's why she was elected Integrity Hall of Fame. Awesome person. You can't help but say amazing. Now, here's what I want. I want for people to look at your life and your practice and say, amazing. I want you to accept that you are, the real you, has an amazing practice. Don't say, well, okay, I see that, but I don't really want that. I don't really. Get out of here. Yes, you don't really want health, and you don't really want a good spouse, and you don't really want a good family. You liar. Stop lying. Handle the truth. We want amazing. And you are amazing. So don't be defined by the past, as she didn't allow herself to be. Don't be defined by the failures. It isn't that you got to have a life without them. It's that you've got to choose to see the real you and not allow those events to cover up, blur, distort the real you. All in favor say aye? Aye. Mission 2 is to become inspiring. Now I got to tell you, amazing is neat, but the fun part of amazing is that it results in you becoming inspiring. And inspiring is the fun part, because inspiring allows you to make a difference in other people's lives. You see, eventually, doing something great, having something amazing, begins to lose a little bit of the luster. The truth is, you can only buy so much stuff and you can only eat so much food. Eventually, it's got to be something else, and you know what it is? It's to become inspiring. That's why you got to make it the mission. I don't want to just live for me. I want to live for other people. I want to make a difference in other people's lives. I want to impact other people's lives. I want to be a hero to somebody else. I want to be a life changer. We have a very specific label that we give all of our staff in integrity management as an example. All of our coaches, all of our staff, we don't call them, we have one label for them. They are dream makers. You are a dream maker. That's the label. That's who you are. That's the purpose. Become inspiring. Choose to make a difference in other people's lives. I want you, for those of you who haven't, I want you to meet my wife, Rhonda. We've been married for almost 34 years now. Now, Rhonda is a very successful. How many of you know Rhonda? We get top fighters that do you. Those of you who know Rhonda. Rhonda, there is no way. She's so totally opposite from me. Anybody who meets Rhonda loves her. She is a really great person. I mean, she has the personality and she is a walking winner. And the truth is that she's only had one area of her life that has been a total frustration to her whole life, and that is her weight. She has always been one that, you know, she's one that just kind of gains a few pounds every year, just a few. And so, you know, eventually, you know, and she was never one that, I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but she would start somewhere around 30 diets a year. And she would stay on them for somewhere between 20 and 48 hours. And then she was off. And couldn't stay on it. And I'm not telling you this, that this was true for like a year. This was true for like 34 years. This is true her whole adult life. And she would always say things like, you know, it frustrates me that everything is in place except for this one thing. And if there was only this one thing. Well, here's what she did in 2009. Rats, you know what she did? And here you can see, it's kind of a before and after there, but this is taken at our top flight meal on the, taken at our top flight seminar in Sarasota. She's lost almost 60 pounds. For the first time in her life, she has lost about 60 pounds. Now that's pretty amazing for her. Yeah, that was kind of a neat thing. You know what though? The neat thing about it has not been the pounds that she lost. The neat thing about it has been the people that she has inspired as a result of her decision to become the real her, which the real her was always without those 60 pounds. On the inside, those 60 pounds weren't there. That's what causes you to look at a picture sometimes and you say, is that me? The real you is in there somewhere. Now, let me give you some examples. Her sister Linda is, and by the way, the one thing you should know, Rhonda's 54 years old. She probably really appreciates me telling you this, but she's 54. I can understand her thinking maybe that it isn't going to happen. It hasn't happened for 34 years, so it ain't going to happen now. So does that make sense to you? No sense in trying. Her sister is older than her. Her sister is 59. Her sister weighed 250 pounds. She's always been overweight. She is not your naturally thin person. Some of you know who I'm talking about. I don't like you. But she isn't that. You might say, as all of us understand this, she was born overweight. And the truth of the matter is, she not only had the weight problem, but she has the diabetes problem. She was taking 4 shots a day of insulin. How many of you think it's fun to give yourself a shot 4 times a day? Every day you wake up. Not good. Do you think that that was her aspiration and goal in life? Do you think that's what she wanted? Was it the real her? Well, she saw Rhonda, her little sister, understand. She saw Rhonda, her little sister, this time. You know, there's always solace. You know what I mean by this. There's always solace that, oh, well, if you fail in this area, so is everybody else, so good. And you're kind of always hoping everybody else always fails in this. Now Rhonda's doing it, and and you can tell that she's doing it. And so she said, rats, she's doing it. Well, if she can do it, I can do it. So she went on the same thing. She started losing weight, and you know what? She has now lost 80 pounds. And the most exciting about that is she takes no insulin shots now. Now for her, that's pretty good news. Rhonda, the exciting thing about what she did was she's inspired the real Linda. And it didn't stop there. Shoot, my mom is 82. 82? Is it ever too late to go for the real you? So, you know, some of you may be sitting in here and thinking, well, you know, Keith, yeah, but I've already kind of run my race. No, you know, you really haven't. My mom's 82. Now, I'll be the first one to confess to you. If I was 82, I'd be saying, hang it all, I'm going on the cake diet. Who cares? I really think that's probably the... But you know what? Not my mom. You know what? She said, wow. She said, Rhonda's doing it. And so she chose to do the same thing. And my mom now has lost 35 pounds, and she's always had real bad acid reflux. You all know what I'm talking about? That real bad where she sleeps in a chair every night. Because if she were to sleep down, she'd get choked and blah, 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 and go on. So she always slept in a chair. Ever since she's been doing this, she hasn't had it anymore. She now sleeps at night, sleeps in a bed. She has much better mobility. That was the real her. But the real her happened because somebody else inspired her to become the real her. Even when others might have told her that it's too late to be the real her. But it wasn't. Shoot, Rhonda inspired me because, rats, I'm in the same house. And now she's doing it. Oh, no. She's doing it. What does that mean? I need to do it. Now, this was not always good news because I pretty much just accepted myself as, look, I'm an old whale, get over it. But you know what? She inspired me. I've lost 120 pounds. Well, every day's a new day, so just come back next seminar. We'll see what happens. But she better stay on it because I'm easily inspired either direction. I make Oprah look consistent. Shoot, man. No big deal except for one thing. It's important to inspire people. It's fun to inspire people. It's a good thing to take people where they are and make them better. It's kind of a salt thing. It's kind of a deal that says, you know what? I want my life to make other lives better. I would rather inspire them to greater heights than give them consolation for low heights. I would rather not make them feel good about losing. I'd rather make them feel confident they can win. Be an inspirer. Let me give you another great example. One of our integrity doctors, Dr. Casey Merritt, who was just at our conference in Kansas City last weekend. Dr. Casey is 36 years old. In 2009, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She has a little 3-year-old and a practice. Doesn't seem fair, does it? Doesn't seem right. In 2009, she has already gone through 20 rounds of chemo, has had a double mastectomy. I would have said, and I've watched her throughout this time, I'd get a copy of every email. I'd keep track to see how she was doing. Because I was a little afraid. I was a little afraid she'd cash it in. That she would accept cancer as being the real her. I was a little afraid that she would accept sickness instead of believing health. I want you to understand that bad things happen to good people. And when they do, you might say, you say this, things are good. No, things are bad for everybody sometime. The question is, what are you going to do when you get a bad diagnosis? What are you going to do when you hit sick? I've watched her, and you know what was amazing? You know what her choice was? She hired more people because she couldn't do as much. She said, this chemo's going to slow me down. So I need to quit? Nope, I need to get somebody else. She hired more staff. She cranked up the 5-year plan. She scheduled more phone calls with her coach. She has never let go of the dream. Is that amazing, everybody? And so whenever I needed some good inspiration in 2009, I'd pull out an email that I would see of hers, just in case I thought I had problems. Maybe not so much. Let's see. If she's not stopping, maybe I shouldn't stop. If she's not griping, maybe I should shut up. Maybe I should be kind of thankful instead. Maybe I should be thanking God for my opportunities instead of putting a magnifying glass on some of the little failures that I think I've experienced. Do you guys understand? Inspiring. She has a reason, and she doesn't. I don't know what your obstacles are, but I know there could be bigger ones, could be worse ones. Become inspiring. Let me ask you, for you to choose to become in 2010 amazing, inspiring, and unstoppable, let me ask you this question. I want you to think about for a little bit whose life you could possibly inspire, change, impact, amaze. Maybe there would be a list. Who could you inspire? Whose life will be changed as a result of your decision to become the real you? See, here's the way I look at it. Remember, this is just only 1/7 of the piece of pie as far as integrity management is concerned. There was a crowd just like this one last week in Kansas City, and another crowd like this one in Minneapolis next weekend. Now, I want you to think about this. I'm thinking, if I can take over 400 lives in here and inspire them to become the real them, and then these 400 lives inspire another 400 lives. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I can change the world. I'm thinking I can change the profession. I'm thinking I can change the health of the country. Because I know that if 80% of the country were getting chiropractic care, it would change the health of the country. And even more exciting, that would reform health care a lot less controversially. Is that a word? Truth of the matter is, I can do this. So, we're not leaving till you get this. You will become the real you. You will be inspired. Or we don't take a break. How many of you are being inspired even as we speak? See, that's it. It's working. It's working. Truth of the matter is, you can change people's lives. But here's what's sad. 98% of the world is waiting to be inspired. And there's only 2% that choose to be inspiring. Now look, you can sit and watch the parade, or you can get in the parade. You can wait to be inspired, or you can choose to be inspiring. I want you to be, in 2010, inspiring. Change some lives. Inspire the impossible. I want you to be an inspiration. Top flight doctors, stand up. Top flighters, stand up. Stand up, top flighters. Yeah, these guys are... Stay standing there. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to be inspiring. And nothing would make me sicker than for you to have the success you've had, and you not flaunt it, and you not help it, and you not make sure that everybody else in here has, and accomplishes it. It is your responsibility to make sure that every office in this room wins. Period. It is your mission. It's your responsibility. You are not here for you. I don't give a rip about you. I give a rip about what you're going to do with you. I want you to experience the sheer joy of changing other practices and changing other lives. Because I'm telling you, it's awesome. There's nothing more exciting. You think because you've won in practice that's exciting? It's nothing compared to making 10 others experience the same thing. Now that, bucko, is exciting. That's fun. The most fun I've ever had in my life is the emails and the personal handshakes and the personal meetings that I get from somebody that when I sat down with them in the beginning, they didn't have it and they didn't think it was there. And now they're living the dream. That's what you call fun. Can you handle it? You going to do it? Don't just walk through the halls. Help. Talk. Flaunt and make it happen. Going to do it? It's a responsibility, because let me just tell you something. What if every chiropractor in the country were here What if everybody in the chiropractor in the country accepted this mission? You know and I know that most of them want everybody else to lose. We all know in here that chiropractic, for the most part, eats their young. That's why whenever they see another chiropractor moving into town, they're hacked off. That's why when they see another chiropractor move in close to them, it makes them mad. We start over 200 practices a year in integrity. 200 practices a year. Who do you know that does that? Isn't that amazing? We start over 200 practices a year, and you know what? I know the letters that these, I call them kids, don't be offended, that these kids get when they open a practice. They get letters saying, you better not do this and you better not do that. They want them to fall on their stinking face because they think that you win by making everybody else lose. Now everybody, I want you to understand this. The best thing that can happen to chiropractic is everybody wins. The bigger every practice is, the bigger other practices will get. We don't get bigger by everybody getting smaller. We get bigger with success. We do not get bigger with failure. Therefore, how many of the chiropractors, how many of them are we for? How many do we want to see grow? How many do we want to win? And whose responsibility is it? It is. It's ours. I'm so naive as to think I can do it. I think you can do it, Jeff. Rats, I remember when you were a nothing. Right? Right? And then you guys are amazing, amazing. I don't know, man. I mean, how much are you, you're doing a lot. How much are you doing right now?
We collected $1 million last year. So we hit.
Jeez, this guy was a nothing. Is that inspiring or what, man? See, that just excites me to no end. Do you know it? Brenda, amazing practice. You got to get to know these people. These are amazing people. And she's in Kentucky. It's like Nazareth. What good can come? It's just a joke. Truth of the matter is, it's inspiring. Okay, you can be seated. You never thought. Sorry, but inspire chiropractic. Inspire other doctors. You are the light, so start shining. You know, one of the things that gets me, we have all this success in this room, and everybody needs to know it. Make sure that you're inspiring others to become chiropractors. Don't hide or diminish your success. Truth is, we did just have a top flight in our home. By the way, those top flyers, I had you sit down. How many of you were at Sarasota in our home there? Yeah. All right. Now, that's quite a few hands, actually. Let me ask you a question. Well, that's Matt and Ray over here. These guys are neat people. And they're young, too. Good night. Matt and Ray, stand up. You guys stand up. Okay, now, how old are you guys, anyway?
Me or her?
Well, I think we better go with you.
31.
31. A pup. 31. Okay, you guys came out to our house, and by the way, we had them come out, and we just had them, stay in our home there. They spent the day in our home, and then we took them to the country club, and we had them eat in our country club, and then we had them out there at Longboat Key, and they came to our condo and hung out there. And this was just kind of it was a financial seminar, and let's just look at life. Let's just look at what it is. Now let me ask you, I feel uncomfortable doing it. That's why I've never done it before. I've never had you guys in our home or condo and all that, because it seems a little bit flaunty. It seems a little bit, look at me. Let me just ask you, and you can be honest. Did it offend you that I had you there?
No.
Did you say, wow, what a braggart? What did you think?
Inspiring.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Amazing. And what did it do to your vision anyway?
Made it bigger.
Clarified it.
And you had a pretty good vision before, huh? Pretty amazing. Okay, you can be seated. Oh, sorry. And some of you else who were there, was there any of you that were there, any of you were offended because I had you in the home? Any of you said, Brother John, this is one bragging thing. The truth of the matter is, the result is that people believe more, and believe bigger, and expect more, and can do more. You know what I need you to do? You know what it's like. Some of you know what it's like. The truth is, some of you practice in a small town and you're thinking, well, I'd like to have that car, but I'm afraid what everybody else will think if I had that car. Well, I would build this house, but I'm afraid of what other people would think if I build this house. I'll tell you what they'd think. They'd think amazing. They'd think inspiring. And you'd inspire them to do better. Instead of diminishing your success, increase it. Because you got to increase others. Don't be ashamed of success. And I know what it's like, and I know what it feels like. It's stupid. I know that the country likes to say that they hate the rich. Mark Twain said, I don't like millionaires, but it'd be dangerous to offer me the position. Truth of the matter is, we need more inspirers in this country. We need to stop allowing the losers to dictate what we say and do and think. We have been scratching around with the chickens as long as we can afford to, and it's time that the eagles rise up and become eagles. Start soaring and flying. Let me just tell you a few things that I think. I think we live in an amazing country. And I think that when another country like Haiti suffers loss, you can tell me all this stuff. You can apologize for our country, and you can tell me how other countries hate us. Well, let me just tell you something. When the chips are down, who comes through? And if you hate us, don't take our money. That's right. And if you hate us, there's the stinking airport. Fly out of here. Get your tail out of here. This is a great country who does great things for great people. We're an inspiring country, and we've inspired other people. We've inspired them by showing them you can bawl, squall, gripe, and complain and still win. So they're doing it too. I don't care what they think. I'm not running for prom queen. I am showing and believing and knowing that we are in America where you can win. And let me tell you something. It's high time that the people rise up and be proud. And I am. Look, Chafee, stand up. What I would give to look like this guy. You know, I can't even tell you. What a guy, huh? Of course, he's depressed because I look like this naturally. He has to work at it. I bet. You lift weights?
A little bit.
Jeez. I've thought about it too. What a guy. You know what I am of this guy, even though I kid him? I'm proud. This is the profession. You know what? I'm proud. He's a winner. Don't you think that's good? I think it's good. I like winning. I've lost. Shoot, I like winning. All in favor say aye. Aye. We got to get it. Don't hide or diminish your success. I'm bringing up these country songs. I don't know why, but here's another country song I like. Let's give them something to talk about. You know that song? You know what I say? I say we have so many winners in here that, boy, they just keep bad-mouthing us. You know the thing? Oh, you know, they have all that. Yeah, they're growing and they're doing that. Oh, they're collected $1 million and they collected $2 million. Whatever. You know, yeah, let them talk bad about us. They'd take it in a heartbeat. It'd be dangerous to offer them the position. Let's give them something to talk about. You are unstoppable. That's the third mission. Now let me tell you why this one is important, you guys, why you have to have all three. How many of you want amazing? How many of you want inspiring? Then you can't get the two without the third. Because as soon as you choose to be amazing, let me tell you something, you're about to be handed a whole bunch of reasons to not be. As soon as you choose inspiring, you're going to have all kinds of feelings to not be. You've got to choose with it that you are going to be unstoppable. Because any of you who choose to go to a new level, and you remember I started this thing out by saying we're going to rewrite who you are. We're going to redefine who you are. We're going to rewrite your future. And you say, well, it's pretty good. Yeah, but it can be better. And here's the deal. Anytime you choose to go to a new level, there's a new devil. It's the way that it is. How do I know this? I know every obstacle and every wall that you can possibly run into. Every time you choose a new level, you're also igniting a new devil. The people whom the devil doesn't bother, it just means they're not doing anything. He doesn't need to mess with you. You're asleep. Anytime you choose to go to a new level, there's a new devil. You will have enemies. Jesus said, in this world, you will have trouble. He didn't say you may have. You will. The question isn't whether or not you're going to have new devils when you choose to be inspiring, when you choose to be amazing. The question is, how are you going to handle them? Are you going to choke? Are you going to give up? Are you going to quit? Or are you going to do this thing? Are you going to choose to be? Because you are. The real you is unstoppable. But you have to make this choice. You have to choose to be unstoppable. Let me just give you a little line that I hold on to sometimes. You cannot give up now. You say, but Keith, I'm 54. Yeah, I know, me too. It's old. And you know, the muscles don't work like they used to. But let me just tell you this. You can't give up now. It'd make your enemies way too happy. I don't want to please them. I want to take those people who think I can't, and I want to make them really miserable. I want to make them unhappy. Here's the place that why you got to make the decision, and you make it in here. The first place you lose the battle in amazing and inspiring, the first place you lose it is in the mind. Your mind, can you ever heard this, can really play tricks on you. Your mind can really foul you up. Whether it's going out to get new patients or it's staying on a diet, your mind can really mess you up. The first place we lose the battle is in our minds. So one of the first things you need to do to win in this thing is, if you want to hold on to your dreams, sometimes you just have to stuff your ears full of cotton. Don't listen to the crowd so much. Why? Because you're closer to winning than you think. There might be some of you in here who think you're a long ways from inspiring and amazing. The truth is, you're really not. The truth is, you're closer than you think. I don't know if you all saw this or not, but I did, and I loved it. Michael Jordan, just a few months ago, was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. When he was inducted, he gave a speech there, and I don't know if you all heard about this, but when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, he really accepted it begrudgingly. And everybody thought it was weird because he wasn't just saying, yay, yay. But there was a reason why he was squeamish about being inducted into the Hall of Fame. You're about to join the end of his induction speech where he explains some of his feelings. Watch it and see. You're going to like it.
The game of basketball has been everything to me. It's my refuge, my place I've always gone when I needed to find comfort and peace. It's been a source of intense pain and a source of most intense feelings of joy and satisfaction, and one that no one can even imagine. It's been a relationship that has evolved over time and has given me the greatest respect and love for the game. It's provided me with a platform to share my passion with millions in a way I neither expected nor could have imagined in my career. I hope that it's given the millions of people that I've touched the optimism and the desire to achieve their goals through hard work, perseverance, and positive attitude. Although I'm recognized this tremendous honor of being in the Basketball Hall of Fame, I don't look at this moment as a defining end to my relationship with the game of basketball. It's simply a continuation of something that I started a long time ago. One day you might look up and see me playing the game at 50. Oh, don't laugh. Never say never. Because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion. Thank you very much.
Now, you guys, that had so much in it, I hope you don't miss it. That was awesome. You got a real insight on why this guy is a champion, didn't you? Now, you know, he kind of set out there, what is his feelings? He kind of set out there, he didn't want to become, he was scared about the Hall of Fame because he hasn't stopped yet. He's thinking he could play at 50. Has anybody ever played at 50? No, we were pretty amazed at Favre at 40. Nobody's ever played at 50. When he said that he could play at 50, what did everybody do? What was his response? Don't laugh. You could almost just feel, you could feel the hair on his neck raise, couldn't you? You could feel like, okay, that's a challenge. You could almost feel him saying, I wasn't sure, but now I am. And then he gave us one great line, didn't he? Limits, like fears, are an illusion. Where did I say that we lose the battle first? Limits, like fears, are illusions. We have allowed ourselves to be greatly limited in our life, and they are illusions. So when you look at Michael Jordan, realize what has made him such a champion is his refusal to accept or set limits, because limits are self-imposed. What limits have you imposed on your practice? And where did you come up with them? What is a lot of new patients a month? And let me just ask you, who says? Who says that it's a lot? Picture here of Joel Osteen's church in Houston, Texas. How many of you ever heard, have you heard Joel? Wowee, that's a pretty good crowd there, isn't it? He took over a professional basketball team's whole arena. The Compaq Center, he turned into a church. Who'd have thought it? When I was in my 20s, I liked to surround myself with people like this, and in fact I would follow people and I would listen to people. I went to a leadership conference one time in Seoul, Korea, and the reason I went, Joel's church that we would call amazing, that's 10,000 people there in that crowd. Now, Paul Yong-E Cho in Seoul, Korea, he has a church where he has 10,000 in his arena too, but he has it 10 times on Sunday. 10 services of 10,000 each. Whew. Makes this one look like a shrimp. And of course, I just have one question when I see stuff like that. What makes a guy like this tick? How do they think? That's why I went to the leadership thing. I had to fly halfway around the world. Was it worth it to me? You bet it was. It's impacted me. It's inspired me. Whether it's Paul Yong-E Cho or a Michael Jordan. I heard Joel Osteen tell this story of a college professor who was, one of his classes, they were finishing up the semester and the students had come in to take their final exam in this class, and so when they all got there to take the final exam, and they're all nervous naturally when you're about to take this thing, as you're kind of scared to death of what's going to happen and how are you going to do. He said, let me just tell you guys something. He said, you have been a pleasure this entire semester. I've been so happy with you and your efforts and all that you've done. He says, you have been a great class to teach this semester. I have enjoyed it. In fact, I've enjoyed it so much and you've been so good that he said, I wanted to find a way that I could reward you for what you've done already, for how good you've been. So he said, here's what I've decided to do. I know that you're nervous, but here's what I'll do. I'll let you right now, every one of you have the same opportunity. I'll let you right now, for any of you who want to, you can take the test, you can just go ahead and walk out of here and not take it, and I'll give you an automatic C on the exam. You can have a C, never do a word, and just walk out of here, and you got yourself a guarantee. You take it and go. How many of you would like to do it? You know, so naturally, so hand starts, pretty soon over half the class is, yeah, this is good. So, man, over half the class gets up and they walk out and they're gone and they're happy campers. And there's still about, 35% of the class sitting there. So for the ones who are still there, he says, all right, he says, I'm going to pass out this test. And so he passes out the test and he puts it face down on their desk. And he says, now I don't want you to turn it over till I say turn it over, and we'll all start at the same time. He said, now, just before you turn over these tests, he said, I just want to say to you, first of all, how proud I am of you. You stayed here to take the test because you believe you can do better. You can rise higher. You can be more. You didn't take the easy way. You took the harder way, believing that you could do better than that. You believed in who you are. You believed in what you can do. And he said, I just want to show you that I agree with you. You can turn over the test. They turned over the test and it said, because you stayed, you get an automatic A on your final exam. Most of success is showing up, you know. It's having the confidence in who you are. And when you have that confidence, it enables you to make the right decision. And then when you make the right decision, remember, that's why I said it's important that you get it. It gave them the courage to make the right decision. And when they chose that, they got rewarded for it. Limits, like fears, are an illusion. What is a large number of patient visits? A week. Is it 100? Is it 1,000? Is it 10,000? A week? And the question is, who says? And the answer is, you do. Our limits, like our fears, are an illusion. Now, Jordan turns his doubters into motivation. How do you handle your doubters? By the way, let's just take a test here real quick. How many of you have doubters? How many of you ever had people just throw a wet blanket on any idea that you've ever had? How do you handle them? Jordan said, I could play at 50. His doubters laughed. How did he handle his doubters? Oh, don't laugh, bucko. Now I'm going for it. So let me ask you, if you're behind on your 5-year plan, how are you going to handle it? If you're behind on some of your strategies, how are you going to handle it, chicken? What are you going to do, bucko? Well, it's because of this, it's because of that. No. How are you going to handle your doubts? Let me just say, I ask you, how many of you have ever had to throw a wet blanket on your ideas? You know who the #1 person who throws the wet blanket on your ideas are? It's yourself. You're usually the biggest doubter you got. Now, how are you going to handle you? Sometimes you got to tell you to shut up. Get out of the way. The truth of the matter is, the only thing that matters if you're behind is if you give up on it. Do you have a reason to? Shoot, yeah. New level, new devil. Everybody understands the reasons. Some people just choose to stick cotton in their ears. Some people just choose to ignore the doubters, which is sometimes ignoring yourself. Do not listen to the doubters. Turn it into your motivation instead. The secret to success is the constancy of purpose. You are not going to arrive at the real you this month. Let me tell you the difference in losing 10 pounds and losing 120 pounds. Time.
That's it. It isn't that one person is better at it than another. One person just did it longer than another. You can't lose 120 pounds in 2 weeks. Therein lies the reason why most people don't. It's going to take time. You can't have an amazing practice in 2 weeks. I don't care what any management company advertises. It's a stupid advertisement and they're lying to you. You can't win in a couple weeks. You can't have an amazing practice. You can't have an amazing marriage. You can't have an amazing life. And you can't have amazing finances in 2 weeks. The reason why most people aren't rich is because you can't get there immediately. That's the reason. It isn't because some people made money and others didn't. It isn't because some people are smart and others didn't. No, some people just did the right things longer than other people. You got to do the right things. It's a time issue. The secret to success is the constancy of purpose. It's a 5-year plan, not a 5-month plan. There's a reason. 2010, it's going to take it. Now everybody get this. Everyone is enthusiastic at times. There isn't anybody in here who isn't positive sometimes. There isn't anybody in here who isn't enthusiastic sometimes. One has enthusiasm for 30 minutes. Another one has enthusiasm for 30 days. Then there are a few people who have enthusiasm for 30 years. Which one do you think wins the biggest? It's a time thing. The secret to success is the constancy of purpose. Vince Lombardi said winning is not a sometime thing. It's an all-the-time thing. You don't win once in a while. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all of the time. Winning is a habit. He did say a little later on, unfortunately, so is losing. Would that be true? And we've proven that one. Winning doesn't happen. This is something that's good news for some of us. Winning doesn't happen to the brightest, or the cutest, or the strongest. It happens to those who take on the mission. What is the mission? Unstoppable. Who are you?
Amazing, inspiring, unstoppable.
That is right. Bob Richards, one of the first athletes that I ever studied back when I was a kid. Having one of his books, he was in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I remember he won the gold medal in the pole vault twice. Here's what he said. I'd estimate more than 5 million people could have beaten me in the pole vault. 5 million? That'd be kind of discouraging if out of 5 million people you were 5 the millionth. Men who were bigger, stronger, and faster than I could have done it. But they never picked up a pole. And they never made the feeble effort to pick their legs off the ground and get over the bar. Why did he win when all the other 5 million didn't? He's the one who went for it. He picked up the pole. He ran. He got his legs off the ground. Most people choose